Welcome back, sewists. We're back on the scrap mountain issue. This week, instead of trying to find a project for some of those scraps, I'm going to look into recycling. Now, in the past, I lived in a larger area. I lived near Kansas City, and in Overland Park, I believe, they had a craft thrift store where you could take projects in, which is a great thing, and you should look to see if your area has something like that. And I'm really looking for stuff for the smaller pieces. A large piece of fabric, I'm not worried about. It's the small pieces, the leftovers after a project's made. So I was told about Retold, and it is a fabric recycling company. And I'm going to take you over to the computer and show you their website and talk to you about it. Let me say this is not sponsored. I paid for this with my own money. But this is something I've been interested in, and I'm very curious about this company. I believe it was on Shark Tank. So let's head over to the computer and get a closer look.
Okay, so we are at the Retold website. It's retoldrecycling.com, and I'm just letting it scroll through so you can see how it goes. I did set up an account for myself, which I'm not currently logged into. I'm just going to walk you through. Now you can do a subscription series. I'm specifically only sending in fabrics, and you can see here, look at this from the landfill fabrics that get thrown away, but they also take clothing. So let's go to how it works. Let's start there. Their goal is to get textiles out of landfills and used in a more practical way. When I lived in Kansas, we finished our basement. We put in a kitchen, we made a little living area, we made a storage area. And when we did that, we bought recycled jean insulation to go in the ceiling of the basement because it was so sound dampening. It was also fairly reasonable. They were selling out of it at the place we bought it from, so we got a really good deal on it too, and it was great. It was a great product to use. It was really nice. This is what they do. They've only been around since 2020, and recycling is its sole mission. One of the things that I like about it is they send you the bags already paid for with shipping, and you ship them back. I think that's so nice. So it says they've diverted over 150 tons of textile materials so far. And here you can see the little bags on the doorstep. So order your bags. Once ordered, you start sorting. When your bags arrive, it's time to start packing. Items like socks. So this is the thing. I chose to do fabrics, but you can also choose to do clothing. Old underwear, socks, things like that you don't think of, old dish towels, stuff that you would tend to throw out could get put into this. They take all kinds of things, up to 5 pounds per bag. If you're putting jeans in there or corduroy, something like that, it could get heavy quick. Once you fill your bag, whatever you put in it, it's pre-labeled, and you can just take it to the post. What I'm going to do is just take it straight to the post office, but you can also set it out for your postal person to pick it up, depending on how your postal service is set up. Once they get it, they sort through things. So if you send clothing, they actually sort through the clothing. Anything that's usable, that's nice quality, they actually rehome it. So it will get taken to another service that will either give it to people who are in need of clothing or a place that might resell it. And that way it does not end up in a landfill, and it gets a second life, anything of quality. So if you didn't want to take your stuff to Goodwill anymore, if you don't have a place like that you want to donate clothing to, you could send it to Retold. Now the fabrics, let me see if I can I did look up where the fabrics go to. So they take the fabrics, remnants, threads. In this, you can send yarn scraps too, which I thought was really nice. And what they do is they mostly get shredded and turned into other things like insulation stuffing or other fibers, which is great. If they get big enough pieces of quality stuff, they make scrap bags that are sent off. Okay, this isn't a great shot. This is the only picture I could find that showed the rolls of jean insulation that we bought. This was the storage area back there. You can see we built a wall to wall it off. And this right here is all insulation made from recycled denim. And that's what Retold will do potentially with some of the stuff that you send in. which is a much better use than it sitting in the landfill. So let's talk about how much it costs. You can do a duo, and they do bargains. You can also do a subscription, which will save you money. So the duo is 2 bags. The closet clean out is 10 bags. There's a fabric scraps 10-pack. I did the threesome. This is the one that I did, and it was $44 for 3 bags. So when you think about that, it's not cheap, but you're also not paying shipping. A lot of that pays for the shipping. This is the one I did, the fabric scraps threesome. So pretty. But they have all different options. You can do the quarterly subscription. So if you're a quilter and you end up with lots of those little tiny pieces, actually, if you sew it all, you end up with lots of little tiny pieces that you throw away that you don't know what to do with. This sends you pre-labeled, prepaid, hassle-free get bags sent to you each quarter for seams. Okay, let's click on that and see how much you get. It says you get 6 bags in a year for $24.75. Is that paid for every 3 months? You get 1 bag every 3 months after your first 3 bags. So you get 3 bags to start with, and then every 3 months you'll get 1 more bag. And you pay quarterly. So you pay, it's about $100 a year for your 6 bags if you want to do this quarterly subscription. They have lots of different options for you. And I think it's really cute. The bags actually are decorated. The ones that I got have the cute little scissors and thread and stuff on them, which I think is really cute. And it's nice because I am going to go get a few of my yarn scraps and throw in there too from all of my crochet. If you want the college move out pack, I think they've done a creative thing. It comes with a little shopping tote that can go with it. They also have other options. So I recommend going and just checking and seeing if this would be something that would work for you. Are in the same quandary that I am, what to do with all those scraps, and if you sew enough that you feel like you're really filling up the landfill with something that could be used in a more practical way. Okay, they have a blog that you can click on that has interesting things about recycling and what they do with clothing and fabrics. They have a clothing care guide for Retold for vintage clothing. And it even has an article on them being on Shark Tank. Now let's talk about what you can't send to Retold. Okay, if you go to their questions section, it has lots of good extra information that you might want to know. They would really like to have you purchase the different types of bags depending on what you're sending back. So if you're sending in fabric and yarn scraps, they would really like you to purchase the fabric and yarn bags because those will be sent to a different place for sorting. So it's helpful for them if you don't include good clothing that could be donated or used in another way in a fabric recycling bag. Now, in the fabric recycling bag, you should not include things like zippers and things like that. They also don't want stuffing, pillows, comforters, mattress pads. In the fabric scraps, they would like you to not include paint-stained items, they say. They don't want shoes. Understandable. And our fabric bags are primarily for leftover fabric, things that they don't want. Leather scraps, plastic-coated textiles, which is your PVCs, your polyurethanes, scrims that use plastic, down-filled items, anything that's wet or chemically contaminated, no neoprene, no foam. And it says, what happens to items that I put in my bags? The classic bag will be sorted into type quality and sent to thrift stores, charities, upcyclers, recycling companies. It goes in lots of different directions. The fabric scrap bags go directly to a downcycler and is transformed into reusable fiber. And that's when I talked about the insulations, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm through selling you on Retold. This may or may not be for you, but I thought before you invested in it, I would show you what it's like. I invested in it so that you can see if it's worth it for you if you want to spend your money on it. They do have partner programs, rewards, subscriptions, lots of different things available if you think it's something that you're going to want to do often. That's also available to you.
Now that we know a little bit about the company and what they do with the fabric, here are my 2 bags that I ordered from them. I will say that they seem pretty popular and they were actually back ordered. I'm gonna rip this open. You can see it says Retold right there. And I'll show you, we're gonna look at this together because I have not opened this yet. I've been keeping it for this video. So This is what the bags look like. I ordered 3 bags. And I'm not going to turn it around, but it has already on it the shipping label. So it's all ready to go. I don't have to pay anything. It says no postage right on the front. So these are the 3 little bags. And I'm going to see how much I can fit in them. I'm going to weigh them for you. And then I'm going to drop them off at my post office. Take care of some of my fabric issues. And it actually says, it has a little card that says, no landfill, your crafty solution. So let's fill these up. And I have a pile right here. This is what's left over just from the projects that I've done very recently that I had a little basket full of. And I'm going to start stuffing these in. Now you could probably fold this to get a better use of your space. You can see all of that fit in there. It's about half full. And I'm going to get I have a little scale that I use for weighing food and packages. I'll bring up here and we're going to weigh these and see what they weigh. So let me get these filled up and then we'll see how much fabric, how much weight of fabric I can get in this. I have 3 sacks this size, about this full of fabric I don't want and fabric that I kind of consider not usable for other things. Some of them are really small scraps. Some of them are damaged, like they are flawed in some way. And I'm going to weigh each bag, kind of see where we're at. And see if I have overfilled them too. Make sure that I meet the criteria for closing this up. So this one is 2 pounds, 11 ounces. This one feels quite heavy. Whew. I need to redistribute it. Wait, so it sits on my scale. 3 pounds, 12 ounces. And this one, I can get more in. This one has some room at the top. It's currently at 2.4 pounds. So I'm going to put a little bit more in this one, and then they'll be ready to seal up and send away. All right, I'm going to seal up my bags. I'm going to move my mic up so you're not getting that sound. It just has a little sticky strip to peel off and seal. So make sure it's in there good before I pull my sticky strip off. I think I'll let gravity help me. It's really sticky, so you want to make sure you get it lined up good before you let it go. I'm going to start in the middle. And the bags are compostable and biodegradable, if you were wondering. So there's one bag, making sure there's no air in it so it doesn't pop when being processed at the post office. I'm going to go ahead and seal up the other bags. I hope you found this interesting. I hope this helped you decide if this is something that you might want to try. If you've used Retold, I'd like to know down in the comments. You can also give your experience to others who are considering using it. And if you know of other options for recycling fabrics, yarns, etc., please leave those below too, because it's an issue we all have, and especially right now when we're all being more cautious about our leftovers from our crafting, and also it's more difficult to get supplies in the first place. It's really nice to have options like Retold. I'm going to go ahead and seal up my other bags now. Want to make my cute top? I will have linked below the tutorial for making this. It's McCall's 7408, maybe. I hope that's the right number, but isn't it cute? I love this. And it's made out of Seven Berry from Robert Kaufman. That's the fabric. Thanks for sewing with me. I'll see you next week for another fun video.